The views and opinions expressed on Live at the Barbershop are entirely those of the host, guest, and caller and do not reflect the opinions of Live at the Barbershop or its staff. Viewers' discretion is advised. The following podcast is intended for mature audiences only and contains adult contents, graphic language, strong sexual content, and a whole lot of shit talking. So in other words, get your kids out the room.
Live at the Barbershop with your hosts, Misha J, Aaliyah, Black Republican, and those two crazy Caribbean guys from the Q&N show, Norris and Q. And now, the man of the hour, Mr. HNIC, Mr. Sleep When You're Dead, Hustle Now, the magnificent.
Yo, son. What's up with all that?
I was just trying to amp it up, you know, like...
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I'm all right, I'm with that.
John, live at the Barbershop Podcast.
The truth. Slavery didn't destroy the black family. Do you know that we were still getting married through slavery? Jumping a broom in secret, even under punishment of death. We were married during Reconstruction. We were married during civil rights. When do you begin to see the rise of the single-parented black female household? 1970. After they killed Dr. King, the United States government said we must neutralize the black power base. And they determined that the black power base was the black family. It was independent black skilled men and women who financed King, financed Mr. Garvey, financed Mr. Muhammad, financed SNCC and CORE, the Freedom Riders in the sit-in movement. So they said, if we want to crush the black struggle, we got to crush the black family. So guess what they did in 1970? King dies in 68. In 1970, they came into the black communities and de-industrialized our city centers. In 1970, they started shutting down the factories. Remember, up until the 50s and 60s, you didn't need a college degree to get a decent job. Many of us got grandparents who worked in factories their whole life and lived better lives than we're living now with 2 and 3 degrees. They could work in their same neighborhood, and everybody worked for the factory. Good retirement, pension, benefits, medical. They started shutting down the factories in 1970, and then they went into the high schools and did what? Started de-industrializing the inner city high schools. Up until 1970, you could graduate from almost any school in New York, certified as a plumber, certified as an electrician, certified as a carpenter, auto body, brick mason, a welder. They took all those programs out. These are the skills that pays the bills, gentlemen. As long as you have a skill, you can always feed your family. But if all you got is college degrees, you might end up in the unemployment line. Why? Because the skills that we learn in college are not necessarily marketable to other black people. I'm a psychologist. Ain't too many black people running around looking for a psychologist to reveal all the skeletons in their closet. Yeah, you better talk to a white Exactly. Person. So they started sending us to college instead of teaching us how to work with our hands. That was the 70s. That was the economic castration of the black male. Now let's go to 1980. The CIA comes in, cocaine import agency. They drop off crack. So now the unemployed black man who has always been a breadwinner, Envy, even in slavery, we were always the breadwinner. Up until 1970. Now the crack comes. You got a decision. I can sell this crack and try to put some food on the table, or I can smoke it to deal with the fact that I'm no longer economically relevant to the black woman. And let's be clear. The decade of the 70s was the decade of making the black man economically irrelevant to the black woman. We're the only man in America who is out-earned and out-educated by our mates. No other woman in America out-earns and out-educates their mates. And this is not the black woman's problem. I want to be clear. This was systematically done to make us irrelevant to our family.
Yes. Good day. Friday, we back, fresh in the flesh. We had to do it a little different for today. That was Dr. Umar Johnson with a statement for tonight's topic. It was poverty by design.
Yeah.
And it's clear, as from the statement he made a moment ago, yes, it was. We've had numerous discussions on this panel before. And let me make this clear. Live at the Barbershop has numerous different hats that we wear. We deal with multiple different things. That's why it is prudent for family, friends. If you supporting us, support us.
Yeah.
Because the information that we're giving to you is very vital.
Yeah.
If you got
valuable
time for
information.
TikTok, you got time for this.
Yeah.
You got time for YouTube, for seeing people getting punched in the face and different things like that. You got time for this, especially the family and friends. Because if the support effort don't come from you first, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because the amount of information that you got from this program alone is very vital.
Yeah, you got to have a listening ears when we talk on the show, you know?
You know, we have fun,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's entertainment and education at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's just tonight's show is called Was It By Design? Poverty, was it by design? So we're going to touch on a lot of things. Tonight is just the surface. There's a few episodes that we have in store to go deeper. We'll speak to some lawyers. We'll speak to some different activists, some guys that I know in New York. We're going to touch base with them.
Yeah.
And we're going to break everything down in the different episodes to like shed more light on this situation. Tonight's episode, tonight's show is just to break ground.
Yeah.
Just so we can have a dialogue to say, yes, no, I see it, I don't see it. If you didn't see it, we hope you will see it at the end of the show. That's what it's about tonight.
And this is what we see and live every day.
See and live every day. I'll break down the reason why I decided to do this show tonight, and then I'll have everyone's opinion. Please remember to call in. The shop's hotline is open for everyone, 954-998-6564. Now, if you can't remember that, I don't know, because everything rhymes. 954-998-6564. Live at the barbershop's hotline, okay?
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's jump into this. I'm your host for tonight. My name is John. To the left of me is my man Q. Yo, Q,
What's
what
up,
it
man?
do?
What's up, man? We're here tonight to drop some.
And here's something, I don't mean to cut you, but
Yeah.
you gonna come into are you coming in tonight on that? Because we going home tonight also. We going back home tonight.
Yeah.
And there was a documentary I saw on Mountain View, and we're gonna break that down as well.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So
Yeah, I was watching that.
and then
Yeah, I saw that.
let me bring our co-host in. Aaliyah is in the building. And she's gonna represent for the down south people. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
She might be doing something in St. Thomas too. I don't know. You can represent that too. You know?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, you want to rep, it's all good. We're gonna break it down to a science, hood to hood. What happened? She got not somebody
She got mad. Jesus.
Hood to hood. We're gonna break down state to state, country to country,
Yeah.
Should be back.
and see how this thing has a ripple effect. Because we're gonna rewind the tape from us in Jamaica in the earlier days,
Yeah.
move forward to America, and then to today's presence, and then try and tie everything back to break everything down and say, is this by design or not?
Yeah. It's by
Okay.
design, man.
All right. Are you back with us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the screen.
Okay. So tonight's topic, as you know, we're asking them the big question: is poverty by design? You heard a soundbite earlier by Dr. Umar Johnson that kind of broke it down for us, kind of answered it for us. But
Yeah.
tonight we're gonna break it down ourselves and break it down more of a science. Like I said, tonight is not dissecting it and going deep into it. It's just skimming the surface. This is your opinion from your own experience, from what you've analyzed in life,
And what you see
in your own neighborhood,
yeah,
and what you've seen.
in your own neighborhood.
So, okay, let's start off with the neighborhoods. Okay, has anyone had this epiphany of looking around in your neighborhood and kind of wondering, kind of crazy how there are no more whites. If you started out in a neighborhood where you had X amount of whites, let's say,
Yeah.
all right, you started out where maybe you were the first, second, third blacks on the street.
Ding,
Now-
ding,
It slowly trickled where they started shifting.
Yeah.
More blacks came in, and then
we took over.
now you look now, and I'm going to tie it back in because I always talk about gentrification. So Now you look back, and now you look, and you're looking on your street nowadays, and you're like,
Mm.
1, 2. You know what I'm saying? They're either jogging by now, or walking their dog, or scootering, or something like
Yeah.
that. Something
Yeah.
odd that you haven't usually seen on your block.
Meaning
right?
they're returning?
They're returning.
Wow.
Taking over.
Okay.
Trying to take it back.
We're gonna break down certain terms and different things, and how it kind of repeats itself, but in a different way. In a different way. Okay. So now, Aaliyah, let me. Should we start in the United States or should we go in the Caribbean?
Let's go back home. Go to the
Oh,
Caribbean.
your mic's
Start where we know.
okay. Well, I know both.
But then start in the US.
Okay.
Okay.
So all right, you know what? Let's start. Let me start down south and work my way up top. Okay,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, would you like to start in the south?
What is
Since
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
fine.
the slavery situation was
Yeah.
brutal in the south. Okay, the migration either went north or west. So let's start in the south. So, from your experience at your young age, did you experience that racial tension or anything like that in your neighborhood? Did you move into a neighborhood where your family were the only blacks, or was it predominantly all blacks when you?
Or when you were there, were you seeing the changes? People coming out or people coming in? The other.
You mean
Caucasian.
as I was growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that hadn't started yet in my era. I
So-
mean, kind of, sort of. I think they kind of started with the school zones and stuff like that, wherein we would be in a certain area, but we didn't go to the school that was close to us. We went to the schools that were way out.
Further.
True.
Right.
All right. Was further out meaning that okay, they were predominantly black,
White.
or the ones that were further out were white,
Yeah.
and you were going to that school?
Yeah, we were going to those schools.
Lucky. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. That's different. Okay. So now in your neighborhood now, was it predominantly all black, or was it a vice versa situation where your family were I guess
Or it wasn't noticed the difference between
The difference between
Yeah, I was waiting on him to
Yeah.
finish it too. I thought it was just me.
no between the two gender
Between the blacks and white family.
yeah black
Okay.
and white family. I don't know why I paused.
my neighborhood was mixed.
The dog.
It was mixed.
The dog.
You say your dog in the background distracted
a
us.
little
man.
bit. A little bit.
But
Yeah.
you're saying it was mixed. Okay. Your mic.
Yeah, our neighborhood was mixed. So it
so
was
you
kind
came
of a
into
mix
that
of
situation.
black and white.
Okay. Now, for Black IT, he said he had it a little different when he came to the South.
No.
So he's saying when he moved on his block, it was. Well, I'll let him talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I moved here, it was predominantly white.
Predominantly white on your block.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, when we moved, we had I want to say it was probably me and maybe three
Other blacks.
other blacks on this block,
Okay.
And one black.
on one block.
Wow.
And how fast before it started changing?
I give it probably a year or two.
A year or two.
That's when about about a year. It was three of us. Then the fourth one and the fifth one.
Okay,
and then,
so-
then it just started shifting.
Started
Oh,
shifting
so the-
as
so
soon
the-
as they saw it.
So the black family was coming in.
Coming in, and the white family slowly started moving out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Because here's the thing that, all right, for instance, now in New York,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move up top now to New York. Coming from Jamaica, going into New York, we automatically migrated to places that were familiar grounds to us, meaning that there were other West Indians, other blacks, things like that. Especially coming to a new country, you didn't really understand the system, so you gravitate to your family that's already there, friends or people like that that you can ask questions, you can figure things out. So my recollection of coming to New York, landing, first spot we went to, Harlem. So shout out to all my family in Harlem, Jennifer and the rest of them, Sharice, Mikey, Harlem, St. Nick, up on St. Nick, in the projects. So it really didn't dawn on me as it being a design.
Yeah, because where you come into, it's more of what you leave home seeing.
Not really. I didn't leave Jamaica seeing what I came here and saw because, we don't have projects down there and different things like that. So the buildings and the height and all that stuff there, we haven't seen that. The garrison is different. So, but it's his own little beast in itself. One thing I will say though, the word project always stuck with me. I never understood why they calling a building a project.
Yeah.
It never made sense to me as a kid hearing the older kids or the older adults in the building say, meet me at this project. I live in this project. He's from that project and different things. I always kept, what's this project thing?
Yeah.
And as I grew up, I started understanding they calling the building a project.
Yeah.
So then my mind started moving a little bit more. And I remember reading a book one time. And this book actually said that this word project was actually a project. They actually put lab rats in confined spaces to see how they would react with each other.
Wow.
So as the space got tighter, the rats started chewing on each other, eating each other, biting each other, and different things like that.
Isn't that crazy, man?
And when I thought about it, I said, oh my gosh. Because the attitude and the behavior, and I'm not saying for everyone, and I'm not saying one set of people are better than the other.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's by design. You could fall in or you could fall out.
Yeah.
It's like Nas said before, you can sleep on the rock or you can swerve on it. Some may understand what I'm saying, some may not. You got to figure that part out for yourself. The whole thing with that is the mentality that I saw growing up in the projects is that people are very hostile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the slightest little thing, somebody ready to get at you.
Yeah, it's happening now.
You got people that was normally just peeing in the elevators and in the stairwells and stuff like that, where you go to someone that lives in a residential area, their attitude is a little bit different. Now, I'm not going to tell you that some residential areas, houses, people wasn't wilding, but to know that this thing is a project situation and it was created to see the reaction of people, our people, and how they would react in confined spaces really intrigued me.
Yeah.
So now, looking into the program for tonight, I found out a lot of interesting things. Like, is anyone familiar with h.u.d?
h.u.d.
You're familiar with h.u.d?
Okay.
All right. Q may not be too familiar with it.
Yeah.
Because, but Aaliyah, you're familiar with h.u.d, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, look who just popped his head in the building. Okay. Bring my man in, Black Republican. Stick your head in. I knew the subject had to stir some dust. You know what I'm saying? The rabbit
piqued my interest.
The rabbit hole got you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you stuck your head out.
Get him
my radar came up like.
I'm glad you stuck your head out.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? I invite everybody else out there to really put the time in, listen, and if you're on, chime in, please. You got the number. You can come in, hit us up, 954-998-6564. Shout out to my man, Khalil, on the West Coast. What's up? Cuz, always support.
Family, bless up.
Tough talk. What's good? Family for life. So now, back to what we're talking about. So now, HUD. You're familiar with that as well. I know you're familiar with it, Black. Okay.
Yeah.
So HUD, believe it or not, is one of the designers for a thing we all know now as redlining, which is basically forcing all of the people that look similar to each other in these areas to make sure that we don't migrate into these other neighborhoods. Because with the Great Migration, you know, back at a certain time, blacks really used to mingle. It wasn't this cluster situation like what we saw with the urban developments and different terms. Like James Baldwin had mentioned before, a thing called Negro removal, you know, which is, again, urban renewal. So with that now, it's forcing everyone now into these certain areas. So now everyone that looks like you just stay over here. And that didn't just apply to blacks. Believe it or not, it didn't just apply to blacks. There were a list of people that in certain states and certain areas could not buy homes or be in certain neighborhoods. And that fell on Chinese, Japanese, Mongolians, Africans, but mainly blacks. Anyone black that had any black bloodline, descendants, that fell for Jews as well. Okay, anything less of Aryan nation, basically. So with that now, you know, you're asking yourself multiple questions like, well, how would it have been if this was reversed and we never really fell into this category right now where everything is clustered into these neighborhoods? Like, would we have all this gang fair situation going on? Would we have the drug game like how it is right now? Would we be controlled like how we are right now? Because, you know, all these different kids, these younger kids is claiming these sets, these blocks and stuff like that, not realizing that these things were designed to have you behind the 8 ball. So what set are you really trying to claim at this point? You understand what I'm saying? So at any time, if anyone wants to chime in, feel free to chime in. Black, I know you got some information on this as well. So let's talk to you real quick. Your experience coming up from Jamaica, coming into South Florida, I'm assuming, right? You didn't go to any other state. You came straight here?
I came straight to Miami when I got here.
Okay, so how was it for you when you got here?
Terrible. Like when you get here, you got here pretty much everybody is like they were representing the worst of the community. You know what I'm saying? Like they would rep the disaster. You know, like they'd be like, yo, that's my spot, that's my block, that's my hood. You know what I mean? And you look at them and you say, yo, but that block ain't doing nothing for you. The hood ain't doing nothing for you. Nobody in the hood own nothing. Nobody in the hood ain't doing nothing in the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you come from Jamaica and everybody's a community. You know what I'm saying? Somebody steal from one, it's like you stealing from everybody. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Down here, you can get just clapped down and no issue and everybody just step over you. Like you don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? But it was always an issue coming here because I've never experienced like this type of lifestyle until I got to America. You get what I'm saying? Where literally you got 3 brothers and a sister just in the, you know, got to sleep up underneath the stove, you know, while the oven is on for some heat. You get what I'm saying? Because we had to be in the hood when we first got here.
But see, that's the poverty situation. You see, by keeping you down, it's basically keeping you in line or keeping you in check. Because I always speak about the totem pole situation. You know, like when you see different groups or organizations, or even let's term everything back to the music situation. When you have certain groups, I'm not gonna call any group names out, but you've seen it before where you have certain groups. The general will never really let anyone pass it. General might not be even the tightest one in the group, but if he know there's a tighter one underneath them, it's not gonna let him pass. Reason being, there's a reason for the totem pole. And at the end of the day, if you're as equal as me, then who is gonna praise me? You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like if everyone had a Bentley on the block, then there would be no wow factors.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Because now when you pull yours out the garage, I'm looking like, so what? I got that too. You know? But if it's like I got a little rust bucket and you coming out, I'm like, whoa, I wish I was like you. Somebody has to be on the top part of the totem pole. When it comes to the race situation, that was what was in place. You know, they had to design it in a way where it's like, okay, I have to keep it not only for the mere fact of back in those days, they just didn't, it's the inferior part of it that they didn't want to admit to. So by keeping you in certain areas, keeping certain economics from you, you would just stay at a level. And as time is going on now, like Dr. Umar Johnson spoke about, the black male in the household now is becoming lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We spoke about this numerous times before.
And this
Where
the
is it by
system.
design that social media is playing a role in what this should look like?
It's the energy people takes in though.
Yeah, but it's not. You see, that
No,
is,
but the thing though is what people don't realize is that it goes all the way back to the plantation days. The hoods, the blocks, every Martin Luther King Drive, every Martin Luther King Boulevard, or whatever it's named, there's a plantation on there filled with slaves working to the system. All right. Every single one of them are bred and indoctrinated to serve the system. And the system is the prison. The system is the working environment, the one that exploits those people. Because those individuals, they go into those systems, once they're punished and broken under that system, they go into these jails where all the other countries benefit from by privatizing those prisons, and they use those individuals as cheap labor, which is also called slave labor. You get what I'm saying? Because these cats in prisons are making computer chips, they're making cameras, they're making designer outfits, they're making all sorts of stuff in prison now. You get what I'm saying? And other countries own that. So technically they still own the slaves on the field. You get what I'm saying? That's why most of these people in these projects, they need to start owning these projects. And because they don't own the projects, the slave masters still own it. So that's why you have a few selected and protected individuals that are allowed to run free in those plantations and earn as much money, whether it's illegal or legal, as much as they want, because those are the selected Negroes. Just like the plantation had selected Negroes that got whatever they want. And the Negroes that didn't get it looked up to them and say, maybe I should throw my morals out the window and be like that house Negro or the selected Negro. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same exact system. There's nothing changed at all. That's the reason why every time we start getting away from racism, they bring it right back, because it needs to be there for their system to work. And without it, it will fall apart.
So let me ask the number one question to everyone now. All right. Has anyone heard of a thing called a racial covenant?
Yeah.
Racial covenant.
Yeah, racial covenant. Has anyone heard of it? You familiar with it?
No.
Aaliyah, have you heard of it before?
No.
Okay. So blacks, you said you're familiar with it.
Yeah, pretty much as far as the stereotypical bias.
Basically. So now the racial covenant actually was of course written by a white guy by the name of Edmund Walton, which was a realtor back in Minneapolis. So what it was, he wrote this covenant basically. So within your deed, the deed to your home, it broke down basic rules and regulations, things like almost like what you would have in your HOA.
Yeah.
Tells you your do's and don'ts, what we want, what we don't want, and that basically separated. So if you had a home, you could say, I don't want these people here. I'm not renting to them. I don't want to sell to them. I don't want nothing to do with. So it would separate you, like you say, Black. So that all stemmed because, again, there was a Black family that moved into this one predominantly white neighborhood and a very well-to-do neighborhood. So this family that moved in back in 1909, the gentleman's name was Frank Wheaton. Frank Wheaton was the first actual Black family in a spot called Prospect Park. And when the white neighbors saw them breaking ground, they thought it was another white family moving in. Until when the house was done and it was built, and they saw these Black people moving in. Okay. And all hell broke loose. They tried everything to get this Black family out, but they stood their grounds. So they're not moving, not going anywhere. So because they couldn't, and miraculously back then, you would think they would drag them out, force them out. They were actually trying to compromise with them. Family never moved. Okay. So because of that, now they had to create this now to prevent any of this happening again. You understand what I'm saying? So we're gonna make sure this doesn't happen again. So we're gonna create this thing now, put this in place, and put it out there so that we can prevent this from happening ever again. So with that now came the racial covenant. So it's kind of odd now when you look at all these different things that are in place and knowing that, okay, you had that Black family back then. For a person to move into an affluential area back then, that gives you not only hope, but guidance to tell you that there's much greater that you can do, and you can't let anyone suppress anything that you do, period. So if anything, that should be a motivation for a lot of us, even if you live in these areas that they designed, that's not your end all. You know, like sometimes you drive through a certain hood and you can just see a person just sitting on the stoop. They ain't moving, don't have a job, ain't going nowhere. Yeah. 3 cars on a jack stand, you know, a barbecue grill, definitely a weight set, a rusty weight set. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you looking like, and they just looking like, man, ain't nothing to do. I ain't doing nothing. The man got me down. You know what I'm saying? It's because you just driving through there, you feel like that too. You're like, damn, I don't even want to be here. You know? Because the psychological portion of it, when you see it and you go into some of these neighborhoods and you look and you're like, damn. Yeah. And there's no motivation for anything. Yeah. No motivation. The bad side to that, it breeds ground to what is called now gentrification. Which means now when you're sitting on that bench outside your house, you haven't painted your house, you haven't cut the grass, you haven't done anything to keep this place up. Now it's going to shambles. Yeah. Probably your grandmother left it for you. Now you're just letting it go to hell. It got all sorts of lien and stuff on it. Now somebody comes in, they buy it at a lower, sells it back for a higher. And that could have been yours. For generations, your grandparents had it. Now you just let it go. Yeah. For nothing.
Yeah, a lot of that is out.
So see how the design kind of put you back at square one again. They win, you lose again. They win, you lose again. So you never really stick your head out. You're forever drowned in if you fall victim to this situation. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to fall victim to this situation. That goes straight up again what Dr. Umar Johnson spoke about when they injected the drugs now into our neighborhoods. Yeah. Because remember, at a certain point, you had the Huxtable families. but on different levels. You may not have had the doctor and lawyer in-house, but you did have the garbage man, the school teacher, the principal, the physician. You had different things that created this thing that brought us out of certain neighborhoods, brought us into other neighborhoods, and no, you're not going to stop us from coming in these suburbs. We no longer have to deal with the urban areas. We're coming in the suburbs now. You understand? But then now they brought it back again. Let me inject this thing again to hold them down again.
The drugs.
The drugs.
The crack on
Okay?
the
So let me show them certain things. Because again, from the poverty level, if you got a man that's down right now, his family's hurting, his belly's grumbling, and all you got to do now is just sell this,
or
you
sniff
can go
it.
eat.
Two choice.
Chances
Smell
are
it, eat it, or
the better half is not going to come out.
yeah,
Survival is going to kick in. Common sense is going to take a backseat.
yeah.
You understand?
And that's how we get hustlers.
So
But
now,
what people don't. No, go ahead, finish.
So
No, go
now,
ahead, go ahead.
what I was trying to explain to Q earlier is that when you look at it on a big screen situation, you try and say, then how does this blueprint get photocopied and get sent out throughout the world? Because take a look at it. Jamaica, Trinidad, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba. Name wherever you want to. Name wherever you want to. It's the same thing. That's why I always tell people, hood to hood, it's the same thing. I don't care where you from.
Sup, T?
Say what?
No, he's just shouting out T.
Oh, T, yeah, what's good?
Bless up, bless up.
You know, the only difference is the level of dangers that may change up here and there. But hood to hood, it's the same thing. Survival. One man getting at the next man to just try to keep his head above the next man, the crab in the barrel situation, all that stuff replays itself.
Yeah.
But it's so odd how it doesn't matter if you're in the United States or you're in the Caribbean or Europe. It doesn't really matter.
It's designed for
It's designed to let the affluential people stay above water and everyone else sub.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the British Western model. Because, I mean, all those areas, the Caribbeans, they're all westernized. And everyone that's been westernized have all been destroying themselves. Yeah, I mean, it's the Western model because we never behaved like that. Every time somebody would go to America and come back and they started behaving different, we used to say, yo, you got Americanized. Yo, you got a foreigner, you get Americanized. You know what I mean? We used to look down on it because of the behavior. Everybody knew outside of America that what's going on to American black people is a mentality. It's a psychological warfare. So they used to always say, when you go there, don't buy into none of the nonsense because it's a gateway that leads you into that self-destruction.
Yeah.
But the problem is the hype is surrounded it. You know what I'm saying? And most Caribbean places, they love the hype. They love it. You know what I mean? So they run where the hype is. So now it just made it easier and easier for that indoctrination to come along and pull them into that. True. So now you got a lot of people in Jamaica right now that don't even own land, that don't even own a house or nothing. Jamaica, where you can easily buy land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. The whole concept has gone out the window. But a lot of people here in America don't understand that this plantation, the difference between back in the days is that you can actually own in the plantation. You can actually build up and come together and take control of it. But the problem with it is that there's no community in these plantations. You know what I'm saying? You have a small group of people with a whole bunch of zombies surrounding them. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, those small groups, they'll try and do as much as they can to the point where they've used up all their resources and they leave those areas. You get what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all a question on something, and I'm not sure if everyone even realized this. But let's Aaliyah, where you're at, have you driven through any hood areas in your where you're located?
I probably lived in some hood areas.
Okay.
The thing is, I think that think the issue is not where you live. It's whether you're gonna let it define you or not.
Yeah.
Because you have a choice of to make yourself acceptable to the things that's going on in the environment, or choose to be bigger than what's going on in the environment.
Yeah,
So I always told my kids that even in the areas, even in places that where we would live at, even though they might not be the most desirable area or not, either way, it's not about where you live. It's about how you carry yourself in the area that you live in.
That's
yeah,
true.
how you establish yourself. Yeah.
So I think we put so much emphasis on what agenda that everyone else may have had to do whatever they was doing, but I think we missed the opportunity to flip the agenda and make yourself and your family bigger than what that they assumed it could be.
So, all right. So let me ask you a question then. All right. So you say you may have lived in some of these hood areas, right?
Right.
How would you define? How would you know if you lived in a hood area? Like, what would be the key things that you would see that would define? Yeah, this is hood. Like, what would
The gentrification of it.
Well,
Man.
no, I just want because she said she may have lived in
Well, because I was probably I'm saying may because it could have been a white hood.
Okay. Well, any hood.
And the reason I think when we talk about hood, it could be where drugs are being distributed, or drug activity going on
Alcohol.
and people know about it, or it could be a lot of fighting, talking, having up late nights, having parties and making a lot of noise, 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, wherein you're supposed to be asleep.
Keep the place. The place looks messy.
Because I remember years back, I had moved from one of my apartments closer to I was on the north side, but it was still like south of where I was living at before. And the lady had told me before, when I had signed the lease or whatever, she was like, maybe you probably should, drive around at certain times of night to see, if you're gonna like the area and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I ain't worried about it. Da, 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 da.
Wow.
So when I moved in, it would be like clockwork. It was like around when dark time hit, people outside and you hear all this noise and people fighting and you hearing conversations, and it's like people hanging sheets and stuff outside. I'm like, what in the world is going on? It didn't last. I didn't live there long, but I mean, I think I lasted maybe a year.
That's long. That's long. That's long. I thought you was about to say 2 months.
Nah, she lasted as long as the lease did. That's why.
Exactly. I had a lease, right?
That's
not just about
need that security back.
That's one of the major things though about it.
Yo, T, I need you to call in when you get a chance.
Gentrification. They keep the place messy, man. And you can see it.
But the only thing, we can't put all the blame on to the government and the agenda. We have to take a look at ourselves and be like, why are our people continuing to do this when there's no need to do this? What has been ingrained in our people that they're going into these areas and they're doing stuff like this and they're destroying property or not knowing how to behave, not knowing how to act, and they're acting like animals, and animals acting like people.
It's the funniest thing because let me tell you, this has been on my mind for a while now. I've been going in. I go through different hoods that I've been in, from New York to down here. Like, all right, we got a hood down here in South Florida called Overtown.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know Overtown. Like, if you watch the first 48, first 48 would not be the first 48 without Overtown. You know what I'm saying?
All 48.
But the funny thing about it, here's the thing with it. Like me coming here in the mid 90s and being in them areas, when you in it, you really you don't see a lot of it. Like you don't understand that you're in it until you get out and then you come back in. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the jungle, you don't see, everything is lions, tigers, and bears. You know what I mean? When you get out now, you come back, you're like, oh snap. Because I think a lot of us that grew up in certain environments, it just became your survival mode or second nature. Some people adapted to it well, and some other people just wanted out.
Yeah.
So you had a different drive for certain other people where it's like, I want out, so I am gonna do everything that I can. Like Aaliyah, that might fit your category. Like you said, you didn't let that define you. You know what I mean? You didn't let that define you. I, on the other hand, I didn't let that define me at all. But at the same time, I adapted to my environment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I adapted to my environment. Like, I adapted to my environment. Okay? Meaning that...
But you didn't have to. That was a decision that you made, correct?
No, and put it like this. It's not even the fact that I didn't have to. It was like, it's a funny thing about it. Like some of my peoples that I know. What you shaking your head for? I didn't even say nothing yet.
Did you or did you not have to?
I'm gonna explain that to you. The thing that makes it
the aggressive women episode coming back.
I'm trying to tell my point. She want me to tell her story. You know what I'm saying?
You've been telling your story the whole show.
This is his story, my story, his story. Okay. Yeah. So what it is it's like growing up with Q and blacks, right?
Yeah.
These dudes, you know them.
Yeah.
You know what they're about.
Yeah.
When certain things is going down.
Is he getting answers from the sky?
Oh my God.
What's going on?
Yeah. I'm coming up with the best words I could put together.
He's trying not to say certain things.
Yeah, you already know. I'm not calling nobody's name. I'm just saying.
Yeah, when you grow up in the environment.
Statute of limitations is up.
His environment was tough.
Well, I'm just saying, here's the situation. Like, some of my peoples that I know, I actually read about a couple of them in books, and I didn't know, like certain things they did. I knew what they're about. I didn't know what they did. So meaning, going back to what you asked, it's just a mere fact that in that environment, if it's me and him and we talking like this, and he's no threat to me, I don't feel that portion of it. Yeah. Even if he's a killer out here in the hood. Yeah. When he's amongst me, that's family. That's my man. Yeah. We're good. I never did nothing to cross him. I don't have nothing to worry about with him.
Yeah.
So I don't feel the threat. Yes. I don't feel the hood. I don't feel everything that is associated with that.
Yeah. Sometimes when you live in the environment, it's just
it's a different thing. Now you that might live across the street.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in perspective like boys in the hood.
Yeah.
You are Nia Long across the street. You just came on the block. You really don't understand it. You look at everything as whoa. Your mom is telling you stay away from them boys.
Yeah.
There is one or two good boys in this hood. You understand? There's a Trey and there's a Ricky somewhere here.
Yeah.
But you won't know that because you already have this impression in your head. Yeah. For Ricky and Trey,
they want to get out, but
Doughboy to us is just regular. I don't have no threats. I don't have no qualms about Doughboy. Doughboy's my man. I don't have nothing. I know Doughboy can light up the whole block tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Doughboy to me is no threat.
No threat.
You understand? But I know if I get in the car with Doughboy, chances are if it go down, it's either I'm about it with him and I know the ending consequences. It's either I'm going to die somewhere down the line in retaliation for what me and him are going to do tonight, or we get locked up in the process of what we're doing tonight. It's just that's where I make that conscious decision for myself now. Like, Doughboy, I'm out.
And
you understand?
You got people in the hood who want to get out, but society make it seems like they're so comfortable. Like, you know, they're comfortable with everything in the wood. They don't want to get out. But you have people in the wood want to get out, man.
Well, the thing is, if you look at certain areas, right? Certain areas are so chaotic and hostile that it becomes normal. And unfortunately, because of the environment that you're in, it's constant warfare. So just like any war grounds, you have to know how to be a warrior or a soldier yourself. Like, if you just wander across a battlefield and you don't understand that it's a battlefield, then you're accepting your loss. You get what I'm saying? But when it comes down to like, yo, I got to do this for my family, I got to do this for my people.
Yeah,
it's the normality of that area. Now, granted, you do have individuals that they will fall into that pocket and they find their way out, whether it's through talent, whether it's through, you know, family. A family died and gave them some, you know, them like, you know, money afterwards or something like that. You know, you'll have your options. But the problem with modern day situations is not the same. So we can't still use that, you know, that issue. You know what I mean? We can't still use that same issue because the thing is if you look at modern day times right now, the reason why gentrification works so well is because we're actually allowing these things to happen, you know what I'm saying, to these neighborhoods when it comes down to areas. Because like when I went down to Overtown in Liberty City to, you know, to start doing a refresh of the city when I was down there with a group, we came together with at least like 30 plus, like 30, 40 people was down there to make a move, start, you know, doing different things. And we'll get there and you got syringes and stuff by the playground.
Yeah.
You know, you over there cleaning up and doing all sorts of things. And you got the people that live in that neighborhood asking you, why y'all doing that?
Yeah.
What's the point? You get what I'm saying? And you looking like you live here. That's kids running around here. Yeah, y'all don't think this? You think this is good?
That's one of
you know what I mean.
But
the problem with it's like I said, it's the area. If you can't step out of the area and look in it and say, yo, that shit don't look right, and then come back in and fix it. If you stay within it, it will control you 100%. And you have to look at yourself from outside yourself to understand yourself. You get what I'm saying?
It's facts. I got T on the line. Hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna chime in. T in Miami. T, what up?
Hey, how you doing? How y'all doing, man?
What's good?
What's up, family?
Black Republican and Miss Aaliyah. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Hello.
Tough Talk T. What's good? Tough Talk podcast. What's good?
Man? I like the topic tonight, man. But you know what?
Yeah.
In the beginning of the show, when you played the Dr. Umar snippet, whatever he said everything, man. Whatever he said in that snippet is the truth.
Are you on speaker?
Right.
He's on speaker.
You on speakerphone?
I got my Bluetooth.
It's chipping in. It's going in and out a little bit.
Going in and out.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I want to get everything you're saying.
Yeah, you hear me? You hear me now? You hear me good?
Yeah. It's a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, what I was saying is in the beginning of when you played the snippet with Dr. Umar.
Right.
That was brilliant. I love it. I actually seen that live.
Right.
You know, I heard it on the radio live.
Right.
And the thing he said to me is the truth.
Right.
And the gentrification and the red line, that what you were saying, man, I'm back all that. Like, I hate that it happened.
Right.
How you see how Overtown, Liberty City getting gentrified. Because you can walk through that now. And you will not see our race living through that right now. It's getting changed.
Right.
It is.
Overtown done for.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. I went down there last week, matter of fact. Right across from Overtown Youth Center. You seen that new little building they building up right there? That the 3rd floor little spot across the street from the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that right there is telling you what time it is. Now you go. Now you go a little bit east, 3 blocks down from the church, and you see them little houses over there that they got the different colors. You got some blues, some reds, some greens. You see it. That's telling you what time it is. Again, it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming because I'm seeing. You know it already. You know it already.
And you know what? The Dr. Umar thing. I've been following Dr. Umar for a while.
Right.
I know they say a lot of stuff about him in his school. He's waiting too long to open his school. I actually support him.
Right.
I actually donate money to him from time to time.
Okay.
Got his book, everything. But this, like I said in the comments, we had black doctors, lawyers,
I see that.
This man in the neighborhood, which the kids, when they grew up, they seen the example.
Right.
They followed the example. And like what he said back then, before 1970, we actually had men working with their hands, being an electrician, plumber, had a job.
Yeah.
And I'm living proof because I'm an electrician.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm never without work. I always have work. Never ever. And I've been an electrician since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? And as soon as I graduated high school, I made more money than anybody who went to college who graduated with me. They went to college for 4 years, got degrees, and I still make more money than them to this day.
Yeah.
Unless they are a lawyer or something else or a doctor. But other than that, I know some people that went to school, got degrees, and they still not using it for the right reasons that they went to school for.
Facts.
Yeah.
Paying hella loans.
Hold on. Go ahead.
And I also believe when they took out, I don't know what year that was, when they took out the auto mechanic, all of the trades from high school.
Oh, that was
that destroyed us also. They need to bring all of that back in the high school.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
That's facts.
That's the 2000s, man. That's when trade schools started popping up, and they realized instead of giving these kids opportunities out, they need to pay for it. You get what I'm saying? So then they started directing everybody to either charter, private, or trade. You know what I'm saying? But in school, I grew up when I was in high school, bro. You had shop, you had auto, you had all of that. You could literally walk out of school with a certificate to go in to a job or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it
goes in the Caribbean. Like right now, I have a nephew. He decided to go into AC work.
Right.
I guess he's kind of following me because I kind of mold him a little bit. He's 20 years old right now, making more than the average man right now.
Yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah.
The average man in America, average person in America makes $45,000 a year. He makes more than that. He's 20 years old.
So
you don't find that too often.
See, now let me ask y'all a question now, because there's a bunch of us in here that we all grew up in different hoods, from different spots. But what made you not follow that path? Like, what made you be the one to get the red pill instead of the blue pill? That's the number one thing that we're trying to break down for tonight.
I didn't want to die.
The thing with it now is we've all known them killers. We've all known them dope boys. We all know the pimp, the pushers, the blah, blah, blah. So what made some of us deflect and go a different route? We're all from the same environment, but we have a different outcome than some of our friends. And what made each and every one of us stray from that path different. See, that's the number one part of it that we need to figure out, because when you look at it now and you say, okay, out of a block that might have 20, 30 people that hang with each other, you got like 4 of them still alive or not locked up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so now when you look at the ratio portion of it, you're like, okay, so now by design, like what to show for tonight is about, by design, they actually won. But what can we do now to change the situation so that the next generation, because you see now the next generations, from the Brooklyns to the Overtown, they got that same mentality coming.
Yeah. Well, this is what I believe. I believe it's gonna start with the kids. With the kids that are living now.
Okay.
Once we touch the kids and mold them back to how it used to be, maybe it might change. Because now the adults they're broken. You cannot. The only way for the adults to do it again, they will have to unlearn to relearn.
Yeah, but when
you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We're broken right now. We're broken right. Society, for people around my age or maybe older, maybe in their 20s, they're broken right now. We have to start with the kids now, the little ones.
But then who are teaching the kids?
We when we get out the hood, we avoid the hood. We don't go back to teach. We don't go back to educate. We don't go back to these kids.
Yeah. We don't go back. We move out of the hood. Yeah. And we don't go back and buy up the hood.
So now that's an interesting point. So here's the next part to that.
Invest back in the hood.
Oh, before I lose my thought, 1 minute there. Here's the interesting part. Since we touched on that part, because I was gonna leave that for another episode, but to hell with it, let's jump on that real quick. Then you have those now that, like he said, I have a career because I went to school. Okay, they told me to get the MBA, to get the doctorate, and all these different things that made me stand out from the rest of these bums that surround me. Right? That's the mentality portion of it.
I used to live there.
So now that I'm out, and I'm gonna refer back to the movie Boys in the Hood again, because remember, Trey's mom went to school. The father was around the way, even though he's a realtor and he's doing his thing. The mother, at one stage, you saw her, she was regular. The next stage, she's penthouse pimping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different, and it tells you now, I'm out, you're still in, do your thing. The thing with it now is, what about those blacks that feel like, I don't want to live amongst blacks anymore. I want to be in these neighborhoods amongst whites. And if there's a few blacks, I'll take it. But right now, I don't want to be amongst blacks anymore. I've heard it so many times where, I don't want to live in an all-black neighborhood.
I've heard it.
And I don't want to live in nothing with just seeing people that look like me. And you're asking them the question like, yo, are you crazy or something? Like,
and my kids has to go to the school.
I don't want
their life will be.
Well, I don't know about it. I'm gonna just say how it is. This is how I think. I think what messed up was back in the 60s is when we fought for desegregation.
Mm-hmm.
We should have stayed segregated.
Yeah, I agree.
If you think about it, before we were segregated, we actually had the Tulsa. Remember Tulsa, Oklahoma, before they bombed it?
Right.
Yeah.
We had black millionaires.
Right.
We actually had millionaires before there was actually millionaires now.
Right.
Like we had millionaires before we were segregated.
We had broadcasting. We had all that.
We had everything. We had everything in the neighborhood. We had everything. Once we got segregated, if you go back in history and you go back and look, you will see how we started to separate ourselves from each other.
Yeah.
Like you just said, we wanted to be with them. We wanted to be with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of that was our people trying to, instead of us focusing on our situation and bringing our people up like every other culture do, we was trying to be a part of their culture, in which we weren't a part of their culture and we never have been. But we was trying to put ourselves in their culture, and they never wanted us to be in it to begin with.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
That's why they pushed against Martin Luther King's movement. You know what I'm saying? Because they never wanted integration. They never wanted any of that.
Right. You don't see African people or Asian people trying to be with the
You lost a train of thought there.
I didn't lose train of thought.
Yo, what's up, T?
I
What's up, Jess?
Well, hold on. I got a book.
I'm just gonna say the Pilgrims.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, good.
But I know I read a book. I forget. Once I get it, when I get back to the house.
Okay.
But it's a book that I read about Martin Luther King.
Uh-huh.
The day, I don't know, it was a week or so before he died. The reason he was ready for war.
Mm.
He had buildings full of guns.
Mm.
Ready for war. That last march when he made to Washington, D.C.,
yeah.
and then they killed him over there, that last march, he was ready for war. He was going to D.C. to start something. Even though he was walking peacefully throughout them other years, but that last year, when before it was one of them years, a year or two before Malcolm X died, he had a meeting with Malcolm X. They had a meeting because Malcolm X was a rebel.
That's
like he was a good.
I was just about to say. T, I was just about to tell you, if he had them guns in the basement, I'm guaranteed Malcolm X was the one that dropped them off. Like, yeah,
Malcolm X actually had a conversation with Martin Luther King and his wife.
Yeah. I remember that.
They was ready for war, and they knew to take out Martin Luther King was going to change everything. They knew it.
Are you talking about the Godfather episode?
Listen to this one.
No. It's a book. It's a book that I got. I have to go back home.
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. No, but the thing is they said Malcolm pretty much told him that what he's doing is he's actually reversing everything that you know.
Christina, what's up?
That the Black nations grew. And he was letting them know that what he's doing, he's playing the role of a puppet. You get what I'm saying? Yes. After that whole conversation, you started seeing Malcolm. King. You started seeing him going on stage, and he started saying to invest in Africa and invest in your community and all this other talk. He wasn't talking about integration anymore. He was talking about actually building us up. And that's when FBI and the rest of them started sending him out letters like, yo, you better stick to the program or else. They sent him mad death threats. You get what I'm saying? Warning him. So I think that's the reason why he started strapping up, because he was like, yo, if this the message you're going to take me out on, then that means that's the message I shouldn't be talking about. So that's why I got to keep on talking about it. You get what I'm saying? And unfortunately at that time, COINTELPRO was in full effect, you get what I'm saying? And there were spies everywhere in our system shutting it down because they were afraid that there would be a Black united nation. You get what I'm saying? Just like how in the leaked documents from Hillary's emails, she mentioned in there that how they had to take Gaddafi out because she was afraid that they were gonna create a united states of Africa. You get what I'm saying? Because Gaddafi wanted off of the petrodollar, he wanted out of the World Bank system, and he wanted to back his the nation under gold and create their own nation before going out of Africa. You get what I'm saying? They were gonna do like Africa was gonna be a united Tulsa situation. You get what I'm saying? And they wanted him.
Everybody come to them.
And they took him out. You get what I'm saying? And this is why I keep telling people that this is their biggest fear. Instead of we worrying about what Kanye's tripping on when he's a goddamn billionaire, I could give two shits about what Kanye got to say.
Yeah.
We need to worry about why they want this message to be shut down so bad. You get what I'm saying? We talk about defeating the system, but yet we always run away from that one thing they fear. You get what I'm saying? If that's the thing they fear, why aren't we pushing towards that more?
Yeah,
because listen,
everybody caught up in the matrix.
That's what I'm about to tell you. Because they listen, everyone, you know what it is?
Matrix.
It's
Whether
a thing
it be
called
football.
It's a thing called a comfort zone.
Football is a big part of it.
It's called a comfort zone. It's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Everyone now don't want the sacrifices to be made.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like the forefathers before, yo, you want it? Let's get it. Now?
Yeah.
Oh man, that mean You mean there's no more chicken wings? And like she said, football, I can't have TV. I can't have the comfort zones.
Comfort. It's just comfort. Yeah.
They know how to suppress. They know what time it is.
Nobody coming
They know
out
what
with
time it is.
That's why I tell a lot of these cats to stop repping these gangs, bro. Stop repping Blood, stop repping Crips, because they were never started on the basis of a block, a color, or none of that nonsense. You get what I'm saying? The leadership of those groups was brought together as a community effect. You get what I'm saying? To police their own, secure their own, protect their own, and build their own. You get what I'm saying?
And they don't
and
even
they
know
were
that.
known for that. Nowadays they banging on their own, like that don't even make no sense.
They don't
they
know what they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing.
You got divisions that have separated blocks. All right, they have separated blocks, banging on each other. You 2 blocks down, talking about this is my block, this is my street, this my this my that. That don't even make no sense.
T, I'm gonna shout at you. All right. Good looking for calling in.
All right.
Good
I
look,
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All the time.
All right,
all the time.
Yeah, man. Be blessed.
I got a comment from another one of our family, Christina. I'm gonna put this up real quick. So she said, I believe that although we live in the environment, whether it's the hood or ghetto, but what was stressed in the household, whether it was attended an education or
working hard
to make a living. Attaining, my mistake. Christina, you need to call in. You need to call in. 954-998-6564. Christina, I need you to call it. You said comfort equal mental and emotional slavery. Facts.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Facts. We need you to call in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just get comfortable where you are. And
so now here's the next thing. I don't know if anyone noticed a lot of these things in these hood, certain areas.
Yeah.
So we got Freeway Rick Ross, right? The original Rick Ross. Okay. So Ricky. Okay. So Freeway. Now I've seen it in LA. We've seen it in LA. It's definitely a fun factor. We've seen it in Miami. New York, not as much, but in certain parts, yes. Like in Fort Greene, I know, yes, facts. The BQE, them different areas that it run through, it goes through Queens, Left Rack, them areas. Yes. Freeways. It's another thing that is by design.
Wow.
In urban areas.
Yeah.
These throughways. You see what I'm saying? So it's another thing where a lot of people really don't understand certain things that are around you on a grand scale.
We all know what she's talking about. The get censored immediately word.
He's on it right now.
Canceled your ass.
Cancel culture. You know what I'm saying?
Like, the fear of Nick Cannon cancel.
But you know, it's just so odd that there's so many things around us that you did not know was by design. By design to keep you down. By design to keep you subservient. By design to make sure you do not pass go.
Cash checking.
Listen.
Hey, everything on the east side of that freeway. Everything on the east side of that freeway.
Let's start the list real quick. Cash check-ins, liquor stores. I don't want to say, but I gotta say bodegas. Okay, which is corner stores for some people.
Yeah.
What else? I definitely know, weights and barbecue grills in the front yard. This is a definite. I don't know what it is. I don't know the magnet, the attraction to having a barbecue grill and a weight set that's rusting in the front of your yard.
The weight set is the prison, man. Is that dude that got out of prison. When he can't find no work. He can't find no work because he's in prison. You know, because he was in prison. So he's so used to having weights in the yard that he put weights in his own yard. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, that is exactly.
Another thing is empty shopping carts on the corner. Like,
Jesus, man.
empty shopping carts from Walmart.
Hey, if you don't have a car to carry nothing, what you do?
No, you know the crazy part of it too. You ever know? You know they got these new advanced joints where you can't go past the parking lot with it, but somehow these dudes lift it up, throw it over, still take these shits out. It's like, yo, did you need it that bad?
And shopping,
and they still drag it.
And then when
at
it
the corner
ain't,
store.
and then when it ain't, when the tires ain't rolling no more, they get frustrated and kick it over and leave it somewhere in the corner somewhere. Yo, the mentalities, I'm telling you, by design. Every single thing that we're seeing, yes, it's a jokeful matter right now, but it's so serious.
The walls are marked up when you enter in a wood.
Mm-hmm.
The
Not a wood.
garbage on the street.
Aaliyah. Aaliyah, where's your ruler? He needs to get slapped on his hand for that. No.
You know,
what kind of wood about that, boy?
You know the edge thing when I really follow the edge thing.
What's that you claim, cuz?
Hey, just say ghetto, man. Just say ghetto.
This is cute. You do an H.
Alright, let me tell you how I know it. When you're going at the garrison, the streets, trash all over, the walls marked up. It just telling you
when you're entering. Yeah.
When you're entering, welcome. You know the difference entering, but it's us who are doing it, dog. We're the one chewing the bottles on the street corner, the garbage, the trash you eat from thing, you know.
What up, Deja? What's good? What's good, baby? Hey, listen, but hold on. I'm gonna tell you something. I remember the first time I went into jungles one time, right? And the first time I went into the jungle. Okay, listen, jungle. Okay, I remember the first time I went in there. And I remember, you hear the stories. Don't go in jungle. Jungle this, jungle that.
Yeah.
All right. I went in there with somebody that could go in there, so we're cool. But I remember somebody else was walking ahead of us. I don't know what happened. I remember seeing that person running out with no shoes after. Okay, so when you see something, and I was young, so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, where are they taking me right now? Like, because automatically your sense start going off like, yo, what did this person was walking fine a few minutes ago ahead of me. Now all of a sudden that person's running out with no shoes on and people are chasing them. I'm like, yo. But again, the mentality that it breeds. You understand what I'm saying? That's the situation. Oh, let me see. This might be Christine. Hold up.
Call from.
Oh.
Wow, that one is from C block.
Nah, C block. Wood block.
That was from C block.
Wood block.
That's a wood cut at him.
Hey, Christine, if that was you, hit me back. Hit me back. I think that was her. That had to be her. Hold up.
Sure, it does say correction at center.
Facts on that. Hold up. Let's see. Quick.
So like a collect.
Hello.
Christina, what's up, baby?
What's up, everyone? How y'all going?
Good night. Good night. Good night. All right.
All right.
Good comments. I need you to speak your piece.
Well, basically, I just believe that it definitely depends on, the upbringing of that child. I'm just thinking about my personal experience. My mother, we all grew up on the same block, my family. We all grew up on one block in the Bronx. And, my aunt was across the street and I was on the other side, my grandmother down the block. But we had everyone that looked out for each other on that block and everyone that stressed the same, themes, if you will, as far as like the children to go out to school, get an education. If you're not home by a certain time, one of your neighbors was calling your mother or your aunt or your grandmother. So yeah, so a village, exactly. And even outside the village, internally, like in my household with my mother, my stepfather, my sister, you know, we couldn't come inside the house without, you know, good grades.
Right.
And if the grades weren't up to par, you know, you're gonna get a slapping or a whooping or whatever. Yeah, you know, you're gonna get disciplined for not having that. So I think a lot of that has been lost in the shuffle. You know, the discipline and what's important and what we should be bringing our children up with these themes and these models that they should be living by.
So let me ask you a big question, and I'm asking on behalf of Q. So which wood in the Bronx you come from?
I grew up off of the 2 train. You know, it was not necessarily a great part growing up. You know, now it's even worse, unfortunately. But you know, back then you did have, you know, the issues. You had issues, and it wasn't like anything was secretive or anything was hidden from us. Like we knew as children, like where to go, where not to go, who to talk to, who not to talk to, if this happens, what we're supposed to do. But you know, we were raised with values, you know, and I'm not going to say that everyone that was in that village came out and, you know, made a name for themselves, but they did okay. You know, they were brought up. They have the values that were instilled, and you know they're thriving. They're doing what they need to do.
Now let me ask you a question. Now, so here's the funny thing about it: you grew up in that area. Did you ever like this? We had I know you chimed in a little bit later in the program, but I don't know if you were listening in the earlier parts. We were saying that the fact that you can live in this environment and not even feel or know that it is what it is because you're just so used to it.
Yeah.
Did you experience that? Like you knew, like you see how you're probably out of the Bronx now, and now like you're saying that it's worse now, but you can see that from a different lens now because you're out. But while you were in it,
it's no.
I didn't know a difference. I didn't know a difference. I thought we thought we was good.
Yeah.
You know, the only time that there was a difference was like if one of the children on the block had different toys. Right? Like they had a Barbie dream house or something, and you there with your Barbies, and you know you're putting toilet paper on the Barbies because you're making like clothes for the Barbies. You know, so that's the only way we knew that there was something missing or something that's different. And then we go back to our parents and say, "Well, why don't we have this?" And then they'll say, "Shut your mouth," like you know.
But then think about it
what
now.
You talk about?
Think about it from the theme of the show for tonight, where it's by design. Can you imagine the fact that how it would be if this wasn't even created? Like where you would be, your family would be, and everyone else?
It's just it's just strange to know that it was designed someone
to keep you down.
Sit and orchestrate this. This is how we should live.
But remember,
see, I want to thank you for joining. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
We all knew this.
Good night.
Good night.
We all knew this as a community back in the days. The problem is Black people have gotten so comfortable nowadays that they trick themselves into believing that system doesn't exist. Why wouldn't a system exist like that in a system that enslaved hundreds of thousands, millions? Drowned. Remember, a lot of people don't realize a lot of the Great Lakes that are in America used to be a Black neighborhood. A lot of people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't that system exist? Why wouldn't a system that lied about the shot in Tuskegee? You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Why wouldn't that system exist? You get what I'm saying? The problem is people need to understand that the system exists for the benefit of the system. So it's working exactly the way it's supposed
to work.
So when you believe it's not there, that's why you fall into the system. And that's why you aid the system to exist. You get what I'm saying? The reason why I chose to get out and why I chose to still go back in and try and help is because I have seen family members, friends, and all sorts of people walk down that same road, walk into the same trap, and either fall or lose themselves to the same things. So I always used to say,
Section
y'all
8.
don't see that? I say, y'all don't see this?
Yeah.
No one sees that. No one see the pattern in this?
Yeah,
You mean to tell me y'all still gonna walk down the same block? So why wouldn't the system continue if they know people just gonna willingly be stupid enough to walk into it when there's all the signs on the planet that says it's there?
Fight for the food.
You know what I mean?
It's like we said earlier, though, to end everything off for tonight. The same thing like we said earlier. Like Christina said, like we all said, comfort zone.
Yeah.
The comfort zone. You see, once that system invites you in, okay, and now you feel like you're part of the system, the pilgrims. Now you feel like you're one step better than your man next to you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
He's working like
so
crazy.
Now you're like, okay,
I
don't have to do what he's doing because I'm special.
He's working so hard.
I'm a little bit more special than he is.
Yeah. There's a certain Caribbean shorty that always think that she's so damn special. Thought she elevated herself.
Exactly. Bird gang. Okay.
Exactly.
Bird gang. So our reality will kick in eventually for Bird gang. Yeah. So we all know what the deal is. So fly, pelican, fly. Okay. So at the end of the day, I want everyone.
That's a perfect example, though. Perfect example.
That up. But that's on the next segment coming up. We're gonna start breaking these things down in bigger forms. Tonight was just a skim. So we had a great discussion tonight. I want to thank everyone: T, Christina, Deja, Khalil. Who else chimed in? Let me see my man in them. Who else chimed in? Jess, Jess, what's good? What's good, family? I just want to tell everyone right now, this right now is an educational process. I want everyone to understand. So chill, what up? MD, what up? Dre, what up?
Yeah.
Callie was good. Maria was good. For everyone out there to understand what's in your environment, what's around you. Tomorrow, I hope that you can get up tomorrow, walk outside your neighborhood, and really take a look. Take a look at what we discussed tonight by design. The different things that you have in your neighborhood, the liquor stores, the throughways that's passing over your head, different things like that. No matter whether you're in a gated community or not, because don't think that these little things aren't by design as well. Okay, so at the end of the day, I hope that this educated you on certain things. And like Aaliyah said, don't let the environment control you. Control your own environment. Just create your own environment. At the end of the day, you understand what I'm saying? So on behalf of Live at the Barbershop tonight, I want to thank my man Black Republican for chiming in tonight.
Yeah, Black man.
Hey, y'all should see a lot more of me because you know what I'm saying. I have recently went through a occupational change. So
you got a divorce. I like that. You got a divorce.
Yeah.
Fuck that bird.
You know what I'm saying?
we gonna get a little thing called bird call. Bird call. That's what we gonna do from now on. Ain't no bird around here. We gonna bird call. That's it. For real. Maybe we should record that. I like how that sounds. Bird call. Okay. Aaliyah, she like that. She rather for the females out there. She
go like this.
It's past bedtime. You ain't see how many times she was yawning?
You know what's up. She goes like this earlier.
Yeah, everyone know when Aaliyah start.
We should go like this.
Yeah. Knockout zone. Mike Tyson knockout. Mike Tyson knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know that little knock that used to tell you to wrap up the show? That's Aaliyah.
She go like
Aaliyah was one of them. She was one of them.
Wrap the shit up.
Do you know where your kids are? Her mom's just like, yes, she's in her bed.
Y'all need to wrap the shit up.
Aaliyah was one of them kids. Do you know where your child is? Her My mom's just like, yeah, comatose.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us tonight, everyone. I hope you were educated and informed and entertained at the same time. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, Blacks, you can end it out since you're not here on a regular. Let you chime off on that one there. Yes. See, you're not even used to this.
Hey, you the host, my guy.
Aaliyah's trying to go to her bed. Let's go. Check us out.
All right, hey, check us on all the platforms. Y'all know the deal. Everything that holds either a podcast, live viewing, or audio. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to like us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, everything. Y'all see the list at the bottom. This is live at the barber shop. Join us every Friday.
Personal, this is the same reason why you can't let them in your neighborhood. Okay? That's why the programs don't want you. You just made your own thing up. Thank you. Holla.
Hey, you gotta wing it, my guy. That's how you adjust. All right? You can't go by the script all the time.
Hey, I fix that wood. I was looking like, all right, hold on. I didn't write that.
Hey, life don't have a script, all right? Shit.
Make sure you go out in the world and be somebody. And from wood to wood, everybody, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves.
Hey, no wood around here, all right?
Thank you very much. Live at the barbershop. I'll see you next Friday, 9 o'clock. Holla.
Peace out. Holla.
Go out in the world and be somebody.